Test X2, take the lead. Look directly into the camera, Bruce. Directly at it.
It's been 50 years since the passing of your father. When you came up to that 50 years, how did it feel to you? What feelings or thoughts kind of came to mind?
It's amazing that it's been 50 years. One of the thoughts is probably, I'm getting older. You know, I definitely, of course, am the steward of his legacy, and I do promote his legacy, and I do create from his legacy. Mm-hmm. But also his legacy really doesn't need me. I really feel like without me, it would still be something that people would be inspired by and talking about and all of that. But I am grateful to be a part of it, and to be able to make something beautiful and continue through it, mm-hmm. you know? And I guess 50 years is a long time.
This is the Pierre Berton Show. Bruce Lee, Mandarin Superstar, production 1892, recording December 9th, 1971.
Definitely, in the beginning, I had no intention or whatsoever that what I was practicing and what I'm still practicing now would lead to this to begin with.
It's got us thinking about, like, okay, it's been 50 years, so what's the next 50?
And what does the next 50 years look like for you and the foundation?
The foundation in particular, which is our charitable arm, is focused on youth mental health, and in particular for communities of color where there's a lot of stigma or just a lot of silence and not a lot of access for mental wellness. We really want to expand and make what we're calling sort of like Bruce Lee-sized impact in that space. Because there really isn't any organization that is really bringing all of the regional organizations together who are focused on mental health, and it's such an important topic. And it may seem strange that Bruce Lee's legacy would be part of this, but the thing—
I don't know if I think that.
You don't feel that?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I feel like what he was able to do, the impact he was able to create, is all because he had such a diligent practice of mind, body, spirit wellness. And that he trained his mind just as diligently as he trained his body.
All type of knowledge ultimately means self-knowledge. I mean, here it is, the natural instinct, and here is control. You are to combine the two in harmony. Not, if you have one to the extreme, you will be very unscientific. If you have another to the extreme, you become all of a sudden a mechanical man, no longer a human being. So it is a successful combination of both.
I also think because he's Bruce Lee, and he's awesome, and he's cool, and he's kick-ass, he can help destigmatize this and make it something that becomes part of the wider, more public conversation.
Well, absolutely, and I imagine that a lot of, you know, the very tangible and visual things that he had done throughout his life, there's so many parallels that you can draw to, you know, to how you can, you know, battle challenges that you have in the mind, right, and the heart to be able to tackle those. With the work that the foundation is doing for youth mental wellness, is there something in particular that you're most proud of being able to start or accomplish so far?
Well, I'm really proud of our camp programs. I created some camp programs for kids, and now we're working on workshop initiatives for older kids that we've been teaching at like college-age kids, East LA College. We ran a series of workshops recently. And you know, all of this is about putting tools in people's hands, tools to help them, just as you say, like navigate challenges, because life is challenging. Like, let's face it, life is challenging. And my father had such amazing teachings and practices around this, and really about helping people to use their mind rather than get used by their mind, and use it as a force for good and as a force for connecting to their hearts and their feelings and their bodies.
We need emotional content, not anger. Now try again, with me. That's it. How did it feel to you?
A lot of times you don't want to sit across from, you know, some older person and who doesn't understand you know, who you are and your situation and all of that, right? So we want to be able to create an opportunity for there to be peer-to-peer mentorship, and really just create a network of, you know, for lack of a better term, like mental health warriors.
Oh, I love that so much. And I think that's a fantastic segue into Warrior.
Okay.
You know, it's one of those shows where, yes, it's based in the 1800s, but the relevance of the themes today, especially in a post-COVID, you know, anti-Asian hate, is really chilling to see those narratives on screen and in such a visceral and direct way. Yeah. What, you know, for you, like in bringing this story to life, this story that your father envisioned so many years ago, what do you think he would say if he saw the show today in its present time?
I mean, I really have no doubt in my mind that he would be thrilled. Not only because we were able to make this show that he created and really install him as a creative, right, in that way, but also because we got to make this show in a way he probably could never have imagined it would be made.
There's a pretty good chance that you'll get a TV series in the States called The Warriors, in which you use what, the martial arts in a Western setting?
They want me to be in a modernized type of a thing. And they think that Western idea is out.
But
Whereas
you would you want to do the Western, eh?
I want, because you see, I mean, how else can you justify all these punching and kicking and violence except in that period of the West?
You know, if this show had been made in the 60s or the early 70s, he would have been, you know, the main star of it, and there would be a lot of ancillary extra, you know, Asian roles, but it wouldn't have been, you know, the show that it is today with the complex, large ensemble that we have of just amazing, powerful, sexy, flawed, beautiful, intelligent actors and characters that we've created in such a vibrant setting. I think it goes to the heart of what my father used to talk about, which is authentic self-expression.
Ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do. To express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly. Now, that, my friend, is very hard to do, and you have to train. You have to keep your reflexes so that when you want it, it's there.
My father had a real knack for finding stories that talked about, in his case, the Chinese experience. He did that in his films. He did that with Warrior. I mean, Warrior is an American story, and it's a Chinese-American story, and it's one that's not told. It's something that people are loving and finding really compelling. You know, I just think that things that come from the heart and things that have that kind of passion and authenticity behind them, you know, a good story is a good story, and people love it.
No, and what an incredible story. You know, the years continue on. You know, certainly the impact of your father's legacy continues to spread. Is it difficult for you to separate that legacy from who you knew him to be and who your family told you he was? And what is your vision or memory of him that you want to keep within you that perhaps doesn't have to do with him being some, you know, a legend? If you I don't know if that's even possible, to be honest with you. But.
Well, you know, he is who he is, and I think that one of the things that, and he is sort of in the world in the way that he is, right? Like, I can't undo that, I guess. But I think he's in the world on this global iconic level because of who he was. He fully believed in being 100% authentically himself. He was like the guy you saw in the movies. Like, that was his spirit. That was who he was. I mean, you know, yes, he wasn't like going around killing people on islands. But that tenacity and that playfulness and that intensity and the sort of joy that comes through and the energy that comes through is really who he was. And interestingly, that is also how I remember him. Like, the strongest memory I have of him is of the feeling of him, because he was so vibrant, so present. That memory of him, that feeling, is one that has helped me to be joyful, that has helped me to feel safe, to feel seen. He was very, very good at that, at connecting and making people feel seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the rise of folks that have these stronger voices that are, on these public, platforms and such that are building their own careers in film and television that are of, Asian American, Asian Canadian, AAPI like descent, I think, there's a ton of inspiration that they can take to, find their voices from just the very simple and clear message that Bruce Lee had around speaking from the heart, being who you are, and being water. But what that means is just being authentically yourself.
Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Certainly, we're talking a lot about your father and the work that he's done and the work that your family's foundation continues to do. But what kind of impact do you want to make for yourself?
Yeah. I've come to know about myself over time that I really love to be creative. So getting to create these media projects, getting to write a book, getting to create a foundation that gives back to the world and the communities is all feeding my soul in a very personal way. Even though it is surrounded, by my father's legacy, I am my father's legacy. And yes. And but aside from that, it's part of who I am also. And of course, I have my own things that I like to do creatively that have nothing to do with Bruce Lee. And in a lot of ways, I hope to do that more as time goes on, in addition to, not instead of.
To wrap up here, is there anything else that you are working on or excited about that you'd like to share with us?
We have lots of exciting things that we're doing. We have an exciting partnership for a project that we're working on called House of Lee, which I really can't say too much about, but is in the animation realm of things. Collaboration with someone to create a streetwear line of clothing called DRGN, which we're really excited about also. I'm really mostly, though, excited about the foundation. I'm really excited about destigmatizing and mental wellness and really putting tools in people's hands to help them navigate life. Hopefully before they're in a major crisis, right? Let's give our kids at a young age tools, because it's not easy out there. And the world is getting even more challenging as time goes on. And we really need it. And we really need to bring people together. And that is my hope. I think that Bruce Lee was really good at that. And if my legacy could be to help people through his legacy, I mean, what more could I ask for?
If I were born, let's say, 40 years ago, if I have a thought in my mind, I said, boy, I'm gonna star in a movie or star in a television series in America. That might be a vague dream, but I think right now, maybe, man.